Hey everybody, it's Eduardo Jackson, creator and CEO of the Cinema Draft Game, back at it again with a weekend box office breakdown. So let's take a look at how the weekend that ended of September 25th, 2016 broke down at the box office. Going to Box Office Mojo, our source for the box office weekend. And as expected, Magnificent Seven took the title, which is good because it has fairly hefty budget, 90 million. And I saw it this weekend. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It's got a lot of Western tropes that it must serve, but nonetheless, uh, charismatic lead performance by my man Denzel Washington, who is the greatest actor of all time. Period. Shout out to that podcast. And then actually, I was a little surprised by Storks. I'm not exactly sure what the tracking was. I haven't checked tracking in a while, but I would have thought that Storks would have performed a lot better than 21 million, to be honest with you. It's an animated film. The decks have been cleared of any real fresh animated films out in the marketplace, and I just thought it would have cleaned up. If not surpassing Magnificent Seven, I thought it would have come at least over 30 million. So that's a bit of a surprise, and might be this might be a trouble sign for Warner Brothers Studio. Sully holding strong, and as I mentioned, a few weeks ago when it first opened, I mean, Sully opened strongly and held strongly last weekend. But I mentioned how this type of film and Clint Eastwood films do tend to skew towards older audiences since he is a senior citizen himself. These type of films, these hardcore dramas, tend to have legs. The older demographics tend to come out to movies, not on opening weekend or even the first two weekends. And so, I'm not surprised seeing Sully only dropping 37.5% while picking up another 430 screens, bully for them. Bridget Jones' Baby had a pretty big drop off. But, this movie isn't making much money here, but I hear it's doing well overseas. So good job, Renee. And Snowden rounds out the top five with a precipitous drop. But to be honest with you, Oliver Stone isn't the box office heavyweight. He never really was to begin with. He's more of an auteur. His films tend to bring out more, indie sensibilities with the conspiracy theories, what have you. I would have hoped and thought that Snowden would have performed better considering the state of our country's cybersecurity, but it's starting to perform like most Oliver Stone films perform, which is not very highly these days. Blair Witch, Don't Breathe, Suicide Squad, still making its money. Get your money, Will. And When the Bout Breaks, still in the top 10, which looks like it definitely has, doubled its budget. Kubo and the Strings, which is probably the only other real animated film that's out there on its last legs. And then Hell or High Water, still performing, well, actually, $948 a screen isn't that hot. Actually, that reminds me, I might need to see this movie before it leaves the theaters, so I'll have to check that out. Hell or High Water. Okay, so let's see how that breaks out into the top call sheet this weekend. So the 250 feature presentation, which we're running one of our final tests on, Jaybird, aka Jason Green, who's been so kind to test out our product with us, he wins, which should shock nobody who is affiliated with my internal tests over the last year. Jason Green, aka Jaybird, has been sweeping up. So let's see what his call sheet looks like. So this is actually, considering the salaries involved, this is actually a fairly balanced, well-structured call sheet. He has, the top money grosser of the weekend twice in headliner form, Chris Pratt and Denzel Washington. So he gets bang for his buck. You get that 40% bonus there. So the 34.1 million, plus an extra 40%, you get to about 49 points. So he maximized that salary, very nicely right there. And then he stacks No Manches Frida, which has been performing still at its platform stage. Let's just go take a look at the weekend box office real quick. Where did Frida come in this week? Frida, there it is, 721,000 on 416 screens. So they lost 40 screens, but are still, raking in the dough for its level. Only 416 screens there. So Jason went and did him a little mini stack as much as he could afford. Actually, well, it's actually a pretty major stats. He 4-stacked Frida, making sure he got the 2 headliners in there for the bonus. And considering that they're all at the same price, it's actually a really smart play. That's probably what got him some distance between my second place call sheet at Go Hawks of 130 points, I think, total. Then also to round out, he had to have one limited release, so he shoehorned this one in fairly cheaply, Kubo on the strings, and then he did a little three-actor stack of The Light Between Oceans at platform, most likely because it was among the cheapest that was out there. Left no money behind, used up his full budget, and excelled to have the winning call sheet, beating me and my Go Hawks by a fairly comfortable 13 points almost. So good job, Jason. You won our one of our last tests. Kudos to you. Looking forward to seeing you out there when we do go live very shortly. And in case you are waiting to get an invite, go sign up here for an invite to the beta at cinemadraft.co. That is cinemadraft.co. And you can find us also at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google+, Pinterest, Medium, YouTube, and we are podding. Check out our podcast, and if you're listening to this, you already are knowing. So you can find this podcast everywhere you like to get your favorite podcasts, including the iTunes Store and Google Play. That's it for now, everybody.